Welcome to the Startup Competitors Podcast, where we talk with early-stage entrepreneurs to understand what information they use to inform product roadmap, strategy, and market differentiation.
Welcome to the Startup Competitors Podcast. Today we have RJ Talyor, who's the founder and CEO of Pattern89. RJ, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Why don't we start with a quick pitch for Pattern89?
Sure. Well, Pattern89 is an AI platform for marketers, and we act like a to-do list for marketers to take their Instagram, Facebook, and Google ads to the next level. And we run all of our algorithms across their data on a daily basis and then provide them with typically an 8-minute to-do list to help them drive their performance. And we're looking across 2,900 different dimensions of those campaigns, from what's in the image to how many characters are being used to the placements to budget and time frame, and help figure out what to do and really reduce that down to on average 8 minutes and give customers on average a 21% lift.
So, because I'm not seeing the product. So if I'm a user, I log in, and is it literally a to-do list that I just start interacting with? Yeah.
Every day you'll get an email that says, hey, Mike, these are the things that you need to do to improve your paid social and Google Ads results. It'll say exactly how to do that. And the to-do list is a combination of actions that you should take or approvals that we'll take on your behalf. So between the combination of we call it the do it for me button, which is just an approval to reallocate budget or change audiences or change placements. But then some things might say like, hey, Mike, you need a 6-second video with a dog and a bicycle in it to drive performance. So that's an action that you'd have to go and do that the machine can't do.
And
for
it's
you.
that specific?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's legit.
Yeah.
All right. So who's a typical customer?
Yeah, we work primarily with e-commerce retailers who are spending a lot of dollars on Facebook, Instagram, and Google to acquire new customers or to retain and grow those customers. So we work in CPG, healthcare, et cetera, but our primary customers are e-commerce retailers and the agencies that serve those brands.
Then current status of the company, any vanity metrics you can share around number of users, transactions, revenue, fundraising, and you don't have to go into all those things, but anything you're comfortable sharing to paint a picture for somebody who's listening?
Sure. So we launched the product last year around August timeframe. Now we have 30 paying customers, and we've raised a seed round, and our big claim to fame is we call it the Constellation Data Co-op. And what it is it's more than 650 brands. 500 of those have been added in the last, let's say, 9 months or so. And what that means is that we have 100 billion impressions worth of data and 5 billion in revenue for our algorithms to scour on a daily basis to figure out what is driving the performance. So it also serves as a big pipeline for us to work those customers through. But we're building an AI platform. The data within it is really core to it. So the fact that we've got that amount of data is really what we're building the company on.
Can I ask how you got 500 brands in 9 months?
Well,
is that just like brute force, or did you get a partnership with somebody and that gave you 300 brands?
Brute force is the way I would describe it.
Wow.
Yeah. The first 50 or so was literally like door to door. And I'd be like, hey, Mike, can I connect to your account? And I'll give you a report. And I did that literally like door to door. Then we built something we call the Constellation Scorecard, which basically automated that manual process I just described. So you could connect your account, and then we would spit back an 11-page report that would benchmark you against everybody else in the co-op. And there's such a need for benchmarks as well as insights and what we should do. There's such an appetite for that we got a lot of action there. And then we've been doing a combination of typical promotion things, outbound, as well as some placements and conversations like this where people say, "Hey, I'm interested.
Yeah,
I want to see my
data."
Me in.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of created a machine that feeds itself, and we grew the data about 10.5% last month. So it's got a really, really nice clip to it, and that means that everybody wins.
That's amazing. Do you have a sense for efficacy of the platform? So if somebody signs up with you 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later, I don't know what the proper time is for that to kick in and really make a difference, but what do results look like?
Yeah. So on average, customers see a 21% lift in the first 15 to 30 days of using our platform.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome. And then on the backside, when a customer stops.
Real quick, 21% lift, is that in engagements? That's in sales? That's in what is that?
Every campaign starts with an objective, and that might be, I just want video views, or I want email signups, or I want, most of our customers are interested in conversions as measured by purchases. But sometimes it's, I just want more add to carts. So whatever objective you've selected, our AI predicts what's going to work for that objective. So it's 21% lift in whatever that objective you've selected.
That's cool.
And then on the backside, when a customer decides to not be a customer anymore, or we do pilots, and so customers stop using the platform, they see an 11% dip in that metric in the first 7 days of leaving the platform. So we know that there's a big spike when they use the platform and a dip when they lose it. So it's really effective.
So in your customer retention strategy, you wait 7 days before you pick up the phone and call them.
Exactly. Yeah. And then show them their data again.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you think of competitors in the space, who comes to mind?
Yeah, there are lots of competitors in our space. You know, in marketing tech, ad tech land, it's like every month there's that new Lumascape that like makes you want to cry because there's so many logos you can't even see what they are. But we think of kind of three main categories of competitors. One is folks who have been in the social space for a long time, like Marin or Kenshu. There are some newer platforms out there like AdStage and AdHoc that we look at. The second are the marketing clouds that are trying to be kind of a little bit of everything at all the same time. And they've got some really smart AI and data science engines behind it that can be applied to us. And then the third are actually agencies, and digital marketing agencies are, running all sorts of spreadsheets and trying to figure out how to find the insights that our platform does for them. So it's an interesting thing. Our primary go-to-market outside of direct is through agencies. So agencies are both a competitor as well as a really good friend of ours. So we have found like either a huge amount of resistance from agencies or actually a huge uptick because we make them more efficient, make them look smarter, and they've been great partners for us too.
So I wrote down while you were talking, wouldn't marketing clouds and or agencies be collaborators or channel partners?
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
We're in this weird space where we're both, and because the platform looks so much at creative and like looks at an image like listeners can't see what I'm looking at, but Mike has a beard, he has blue eyes, he's got a white shirt on, he's wearing a Fitbit, I think. Yep. There's a microphone. We're inside. There's a gray background. These are all things that the computer can pick up, and with computer vision and tag this image. There's a table and a computer, and we're inside, and you're sort of smiling. Like all those types of things are what the machine can pick up, and that's a really complementary component to any optimization platform that's already out there or agency that's trying to come up with the insights for our customers. So it is it's like the biggest mistake you hear in startup land is never say you don't have any competitors because you're an idiot or something. Yeah. And it's kind of like, well, we kind of don't have competitors who do exactly what we do, but we certainly have a lot of competition for the dollar that we're pursuing. So we have a ton of competition, but we're finding ways in as a complementary solution to really all three of the types of competitors I've already described.
When I think of a marketing cloud, or a bigger company that's out there, I could easily see them building, doing a partnership with you where you're just basically baked into the solution as as part of the offering from an upsell perspective. Are you doing that with anybody yet?
Not yet. We've got a number of conversations going with that in mind, and where either we're white labeled or just integrated completely into the solution that they're already providing to a customer. And that's kind of the fun of being a founder. You get to play with what is the best way to integrate our technology. And especially in marketing, I think the average marketer has like 20 different solutions in their quote marketing stack. I mean, that's a lot of different things to log into. So if we can provide value through something that they're already logging into, then that's a great go-to-market for us. And we've got a lot of interest there. And, a lot of interest means it hasn't happened yet, but I'm definitely pursuing those types of conversations in addition to selling direct.
So I feel like I heard part of the direct sales strategy is get the brand on the platform through those insights, the Constellation. What did you call it? Constellation?
Scorecard.
Mm-hmm. Which is great. And then that, not only is that getting you data to feed the machine, but that's also putting them in, I would assume, puts them in a sales funnel.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Are there other ways that when you think of sales and or marketing for a product like this? What are some of the other ways that you're trying to get in front of customers?
We basically put all people towards a free pilot.
Okay.
And a free pilot gets them their data in a view that they can then see the power of the platform. And we've made it super easy. It's literally 2 clicks to get up and running. AI has this bad reputation as being something that takes a long time. It needs to learn your data. We're not going to see results for a long time. It's mysterious, those types of things. So we've tried to really pull it back to say it's easy. 2 clicks. And you can see your data up and running. You can see all of the 2,900 different algorithms running and see what the results of that. So then you can make a decision on it pretty quickly. So the question is really, how do we get more people to connect their accounts and to pilot with us? And it's been through a few different things. One is through an outbound calling strategy. We've got awesome content because of the data co-op. We can learn all sorts of things and trends and ideas and predictions that aren't out there in the world that are attractive and interesting to help marketers do their job. So we use that content to get people on the phone and interested in the first place. And so our outbound strategy has been really working for us. The other way that I've found is very successful is by hosting dinner. And I'll go to a city, get between 15 and 20 marketing folks. A typical person is about a mid-level marketer to come to a cool dinner. I'm kind of a foodie and I like to go to a good restaurant. And it's a dinner with no programming. And we just literally have dinner. And I think people are tired of being sold to. They're tired of that whole timeshare presentation thing. And so it's a no pitch dinner. We have a branded menu, and I have about an 80 to 90% conversion rate from those dinners to pilots. So, they're expensive. They take time, those types of things. But, so does...
For an 80% conversion rate, it can be expensive.
Yeah. I mean, they work. Right. And so that's been a really successful way to cut through the clutter.
I need to unpack that a little bit more.
Sure.
Because that's an amazing little gem. So what does that outreach look like to invite them? Is this somebody who's already been in the sales process and so they're already a little bit familiar? Or is this literally like, hey, I'm reaching out to them on LinkedIn. I'm going to be in Chicago. I'm doing this dinner. Think of it a little bit like a peer roundtable, but it's not structured.
Yeah. It's kind of... Some people are in the sales process, but other times I find like one person. We all have these communities of people like Mike, a ton of folks, and I just need to find one to say, hey, I'm going to be in the city marketing dinner. Do you want to come? And then typically I'll develop a relationship or something with that person. I'll say, hey, do you have a friend or two? We're going to this awesome restaurant. Do you want to come? No pitch. Let's just go to dinner and let's talk. And everybody's hungry for community. Everyone's hungry for someone who's going to just genuinely share ideas. So we kind of get credit for being the foster or the fosterer of those conversations.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of wild. We've done these dinners in a number of different cities, and people from one city like San Francisco will be like, hey, I've got a friend in New York who might be good to join you. So again, we have a great dinner. We have the chef come talk to us. They're fun wine pairings. I typically bring some sort of little something from Indiana, like just pop in popcorn or take your coffee or something small as a little...
Or Kelly Farms honey.
Kelly Farms honey. Hey, actually, we should talk.
Right on.
But, something like that just to sell our culture and sell what we're about. And, it really is about like the community and then follow up and say, hey, thanks for coming to dinner. Would love to show you what we're up to. We want to see it. So
that's awesome. I need to find a way to start playing around with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So some people in cold outreach, marketing dinners, any other amazingly weird strategies like that I've never heard of that are awesome?
No, probably the rest of them are kind of standard.
Okay.
The ways that we are kind of mining our data to figure out like what are some interesting insights, or we just published a lookbook, which is kind of a fun trend where, in fashion and e-commerce, they have all these lookbooks. So we've published a lookbook, which has coordinating metrics to what is driving performance among retailers this summer. So kind of aligning our marketing strategies to what they already see. So content marketing.
Do you have enough data yet to predict the best customer for you? So like, I'm sure you can plug anybody in and they're going to get results, right? But I would imagine there's got to be some correlation of like these types of companies we really crush.
Yes.
And for these companies, we do okay. Like,
yes.
Do you have a sense for who those are?
So we have a model that predicts it. So yes is the answer.
Okay.
And actually our data scientist was like, hey, I built this model. The thing is that model takes out the human altogether. and like the human sales job,
Right.
And in the same way that I don't believe that the human should be removed from marketing because of the humanness that we bring to it. Like if you just left it at the machines, they would get you great results for a while, and then it would run out or turn into porn or something, because that's like that's what the machines they'll optimize towards the lowest common, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like the human's not factored into the machine.
So then all of your ads look like Fox News.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, seriously, there's like there's some truth to that because you just optimize to what people click on, right? So yes, we have a model. I don't know that I trust it, and the reason why is because there's a lot of education along the way with a marketer who wants to take the leap into AI or artificial intelligence. And there's a lot of false assumptions to get over. There's a lot of control. If the machine's going to be making some of these decisions, then what do I do? And I think that education piece is not something that we've figured out a model behind. And some people are better from a sales perspective at educating and bringing people along that journey, and others are not. And if you do it wrong, it comes out as the machine's going to take your job. And if you do it right, it's like, well, no, the machine's going to help you do your job a lot better. So, that's a fine line. And I think we're battling against some of the conditioning that's out there and some of the flashy headlines about autonomous everything.
Right.
This episode is brought to you by Full Stack PEO. Most founders start companies because they figured out a better way to solve a problem or serve a need, not because they love tracking payroll, filling out compliance forms, and explaining employee benefits packages. And yet, all that stuff still has to be done. That's why there's Full Stack PEO. Full Stack PEO specializes in turnkey HR for emerging companies, not just those core services, but advice and expertise that help founders maximize employee potential. Curious? Find out more at fullstackpeo.com.
If you can talk about this, what's on the product roadmap? Where do you think you go next? Or what are maybe some of the new technologies that you guys are excited about that you think will really change the efficacy of the platform?
Yeah, there's two ways I think about the product roadmap. One is deepening what we do today and then going wider across other channels. On the deepening what we do today, we have only really started to figure out what is it that's driving performance. We have 2,900 different dimensions that we look at. Is the shirt white, red, blue, green, whatever? Is the headline 62 characters, 63? How many verbs? How many nouns? Is the word save, exclamation point? Like all these different things. But there's lots of different ways that we can deepen the analysis with, I don't even know how many different features. So, and it doesn't make sense to do them all, but we're continuing to add to the depth that the way that the platform predicts today. In addition, customers have said, really love what you're doing for Facebook and Instagram and Google Display. Can you do the same thing for YouTube and help advise us on what video stories we should be creating? Or, man, I'd love to see this live for email to predict what headlines or subject lines rather, as well as body copy and, what should be above the fold in email. And I came from an email background at ExactTarget and then at Salesforce for 10 years. So it's like, well, I guess we're going back to that because marketers want to see the same types of things. So for organic social, for other channels. So it's kind of going deeper on what our predictions can do today and then going wider to other digital marketing channels.
Where does the 89 come from?
Pattern89 was named because there are 88 constellations in the sky that were helping marketers look at their constellation of data to find the 89th. So
I like it.
Yeah. And also that was a name that we could trademark and get the URL.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's a good story.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
How did you decide that this is like what? Give me the founding story. Like why this problem?
Yeah. Well, so I've been in tech for now about 17 years and in marketing world for that amount of time. And at ExactTarget and at Salesforce and in my previous startup, the whole problem that I continue to encounter is that pace of marketing is increasing and that marketers more and more just don't know what to do. And like even the smartest marketers, they're like, well, we're going to A/B test it, or we're going to ABN test it. We're going to multivariate, whatever the case is. And we all want to test everything, but we actually want to figure out what the result was from the test. And the pace of things changes so quickly, especially in paid social, that we might test something for a week and then say, all right, let's put a bunch of money behind it. And then the next week you're like, wait, it didn't work. Was our test wrong? Was our testing methodology incorrect? So the overall challenge is how do we keep up or keep ahead of what's going on in marketing is kind of the core problem. And the artificial intelligence and data science approaches that are out there now can help really predict what's going to work or use some techniques that mimic A/B testing in a way that would reduce the amount of A/B testing that a customer would need to do in order to find the same type of answer. That was kind of the core problem. And I said, what if we wanted marketing to actually be this fast, or the pace of marketing to actually increase? And that was actually what we wanted. And we could create a solution that helped marketers stay on pace with it. And the technology is now available to do that. And so I've worked always in kind of the new stuff. At ExactTarget, I launched our mobile product, then I launched our landing page product, and then our Internet of Things product. So all of like the new stuff, I like the new thing. And well, what if we had a platform that helped you get smarter about all that new stuff? So started playing around with some A/B testing, like A/B testing on steroids, and then figured out that actually customers don't want to do more A/B testing. They just want the answer from that. Right. And that's where Pattern89 said, all right, well, we can actually predict what the answer is going to be.
Excellent.
Yeah.
When you reflect back on the last year in particular, from when you first launched a product to kind of where you are today, what's the biggest unexpected thing you've learned personally?
The biggest thing I've learned is how to deal with myself. And maybe that sounds really cliche, but it's actually true. And, I have 4 kids. I love to work hard. I really enjoy work, but there were a few times where I came home from work and I was like, go on a conference call. And I'd walk in the front door and my wife literally was handing me a baby that was screaming, like no joke, like that whole cliche thing. And
Here, take this.
Yeah, really. And I wasn't in the place to like handle that. Or then I would like be at work mode at home, and my wife would be like, you need to leave this house and go walk around the block and then come back in again, and, and I was like, well, so it's kind of dealing with myself, meaning like, maybe not to get too personal, but like, I'd gained a bunch of weight and, not managing stress appropriately and that type of stuff. So the thing I think I've learned about myself is in order for me to be effective as a leader or a founder, you got to like take care of yourself. So in the last year or so, I've got my spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet in which here are the things I need to do every week in order to make sure that I'm kind of staying on track with stress management and life management and that type of stuff. And I swam growing up and I swam in college and I still swim now. So on my spreadsheet is swimming 3 times a week. So did I do it? Yes, no. I got into a bad habit of buying coffee every day, like for whatever. And then I'd buy a coffee and then I'd buy a pastry or something, something. On my list is make coffee every day. So, it's like kind of slows down your morning, make coffee, and saves money too, but like it's just like more about like what are the rituals that I need to do. And I started taking the bus to work, which is not common, or I guess in Indianapolis as much. I started taking the bus and then reading. So I'd love to read, but I haven't been reading. So really making sure that I'm honoring that part of kind of what I need. So then also taking the bus home and reading on the bus home. You can't work on the bus. There's no Wi-Fi, which is kind of a blessing right now. And actually, I'm really excited about the new bus to come in, the red line. They say it's going to have Wi-Fi, which
bittersweet, man.
I know. I don't want it. I want the red line because I live right by there. So I'm excited to do that. But, I want to like kind of decompress from the day. And so, be the husband and father that I want to be, which sounds kind of heavy, but like, that's actually what I've learned. Like that's. Yeah,
it's amazing. I have 2 quick thoughts on that. One is, I have a farm, and part of the magic, a lot of people hear that I drive an hour into work each day and an hour home, and they think you're crazy. Why would you give up 2 hours of your day every day? And it's one of these hidden little gems that people don't think of, which is I have an hour to think at the start of my day, where I can think through, okay, what are my priorities? What do I want to get done? There's always more than you can do. So just really taking the time to think about where I want to focus. And on the way home, it's totally just decompression, right? That walk around the block. I'm doing that on the way home. Even if I take 1 or 2 conference calls on the way home, I'm still have plenty of time to just let it all go. Right. And so when I get on our property, and get out of the truck and I have a kid running up to me, like I'm ready for that.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So that totally resonates with me. And then yesterday, couldn't be more timely. Yesterday I was at Cafe Pattern89, the center of the startup universe.
No kidding.
And in there were two former guests from the podcast. And of course I walk up to them, shake their hands, and they're like, we were just talking about journaling and mental health and how you as a founder have to figure out how to ride this roller coaster and balance life and the work commitment and stuff like that. So it's like, it's a super relevant topic, right? I don't think it's a cliche at all.
Yeah. People, it feels like it is becoming more and more people, like startup founders are talking about it. And why it feels a little bit, I don't know, like weird to talk about is like, I don't have some crazy story. You know what I mean? Like it's not crazy. It's just like day-to-day stuff, there's nothing like, I didn't try to, like there's no extreme, to my story where like, you're like, oh my gosh, he almost jumped off a bridge and then came back. No, it's just like normal stuff, and it's funny. It's like, I know that there are a lot of startup founders that are actually even more extreme. So, or who are going through other stuff that I've never experienced, but just in my life, it's important to, keep things in balance.
Yeah. What are you excited about personally in terms of continuing to get better at or grow, or what's the next thing you're trying to figure out as a leader, or any of the above?
There's a lot of stuff. I've got all sorts of like personal things, personal goals, and with myself. But on the kind of professional level, or it is professional, but I'm also really personally excited about, is that there's a gap between what people think of artificial intelligence and AI and what it is and how we can change our business and lives and stuff. And I think that a lot of times the headlines in the news are like these disaster stories where the robots like take over the world and kill us, like that's the headline that everybody's reading. Right. I believe that this technology can make us more creative and allow us to think more and create more and be more human. And I think that like, that's a cool, interesting challenge, is like, how do we create more stories and user interfaces and the interaction between humans and computers? And how do we, like, even in our product, what buttons do you click? How do you interface with it is a big challenge, and it's pretty exciting on most days, because no one's done it before and we're trying to find out what the answer is. It's supremely frustrating in other days, but like most times it's like, this is an exciting challenge to try to figure out. And like, it brings forth, I have an English degree and I have a master's in English. So it's all about, for me, it's like, how do we tell the story? How do we create something around this technology? So that's like really exciting for me. And then meanwhile, the technology is getting even better. So I don't know, like that's a cool, interesting, hard challenge. So I'm really excited about that. And then all sorts of stuff on the personal front. I'm doing a 2-mile swim in a week across Eagle Creek, which will be fun. Yeah. And, raising my family and all those sorts of things too. Yeah. So, yeah.
If people would like to get in touch with you or learn more about Pattern89, where can they do that?
Sure. It's we're just at pattern89.com. I'm RJ at pattern89.com. So would love to chat about whatever.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Well, thank you.
If you're thinking of launching a SaaS product, Startup Competitors can provide data on your closest competitors, survey potential users, or provide other product validation services. Learn more at startupcompetitors.com.